Hello, sixth graders. So this presentation is going to be about Walter Dean Myers. Now, Walter Dean Myers is going to be our new author for our author study, and I hope that we will be able to take this author all the way through June and up until the last day of schoolwork. So let's get started. So some things to know about Walter Dean Myers. So the basic facts about him is that he is indeed a writer, and he especially wrote children's books. He didn't so much write for adults because he felt there was a greater need and a greater purpose to write for children to almost save them from themselves. He wrote young adult novels for young teenagers, nonfiction, and poetry. So let's talk about his upbringing, which wasn't really great. So his mother died during childbirth when he was 2 years old. So when she was giving birth to his younger siblings, that's when she died, which made him have to go live with and be raised by his foster parents, who he did actually like. He did take his foster dad's last name. So there was something called neighborhood and church growing up, so both kind of took care of you. Where the church saved you, it was a place for you to kind of have a spiritual release and a relationship with God, but the neighborhood is something that protected you. Growing up, Walter D. Myers was not known to be a good student. He didn't get good grades, and the teachers feared that he would drop out. And he was considered to be kind of reckless and a overall disturbance to other kids in school. And he was teased for his speech impediment. So a speech impediment is like a stutter. So he did have a few teachers that did encourage him. So one particular teacher urged him to use writing as a way to express himself, in a way to kind of release energy and anxieties and stress in his life. And he really listened to this teacher and got down to writing. Because of this, he learned to love reading as well as writing, and soon realized that he should encourage others to read also. So as a young adult, he did indeed drop out of high school to join the army, but he did write in high school, but he didn't last long. On his 17th birthday, he joined the U.S. Army. However, after the army, he couldn't find work easy. There weren't a lot of places hiring him. However, he did find a job writing for a men's magazine. After that, he turned his focus on African American characters and wrote about his own experiences growing up. He felt that writing about his true experiences in African American characters can really make a connection with some of his young readers and encourage them to kind of create their own stories in their life. So some awards and important things to note. So in 2012 and 2013, so 2 years in a row, he was the National Ambassador for Young People's Literature. So this was a big deal, and he wanted to be a big influencer on the young people in the world because he knew that they would be in trouble if, one, they didn't have good role models to look up to, and two, if they didn't read. So he kind of spearheaded or started this project saying that you have to read. So he goes, reading is not optional. And of course we all know you have the choice to pick up a book or not, but he goes, if you want to make it in this world, reading is not optional. You have to do it. You have to be a good reader. You have to learn new language skills. You have to know, that's how you communicate. If you can't read, you can't write. If you can't write, you can't communicate. So that's what he meant by reading is not optional. If you want to be successful in this world, reading is something that's necessary. So he also won the Coretta Scott King Award for African American authors. Now remember, Coretta Scott King is Martin Luther King's wife. And big deal here, he wrote for the New York Times. So the New York Times is a bigwig newspaper that's obviously still around today, but it comes with a lot of accolades and it's very popular. So it's a very big deal for him to have written in the New York Times. And he wrote an article in the New York Times right before he died. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this little presentation. There will be a little questionnaire for you guys on a Google Doc. And also on the Google Doc will be the first official assignment for our author study.